First contact. The red dust of Mars swirled around Dr. Samira Patel's boots as she made her way across the desolate landscape. Her heart raced with excitement, each step bringing her closer to what could be the greatest discovery in human history. Behind her, a small team of fellow scientists and engineers followed, their anticipation palpable even through their protective suits. "There it is," Samira breathed, her voice barely above a whisper in her headset. Ahead of them, partially buried in the rusty soil, was a structure unlike anything they had ever seen. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, defying the harsh Martian environment that surrounded it. As they approached, Dr. James Chen, the team's archaeologist, began scanning the object with handheld devices. "It's definitely not natural," he reported, his voice filled with awe. "And it's not human-made either. This is it, people. Proof of extraterrestrial intelligence." The team worked tirelessly for hours, carefully excavating around the artifact. It was roughly cylindrical, about the size of a small bus, with intricate patterns etched into its surface. As the Martian sun began to set, casting long shadows across the landscape, Samira noticed something peculiar. "Look," she said, pointing to a section they had just uncovered. "These markings, they're changing." Before their eyes, the etchings on the artifact began to shift and glow. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through their suits. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the object, coalescing into a holographic display that hovered before them. Alien symbols danced in the air, rapidly transforming into recognizable human languages. The message was clear and concise. "Greetings, people of Earth. You have discovered the key to joining the Galactic Federation. Are you ready to face the trials?" The team stood in stunned silence, trying to process what they were seeing. It was Dr. Elena Volkov, their linguist, who finally broke the quiet. "It's an invitation," she said, her voice filled with wonder, "but also a challenge." Over the next few days, as news of the discovery spread across Earth, the artifact continued to provide information. The Galactic Federation, it explained, was a coalition of advanced alien civilizations spanning much of the Milky Way. Earth was being offered a chance to join, but first, humanity would have to prove itself worthy. A series of trials awaited them at a place called Nexus Station, a massive space habitat at the heart of the Federation. These trials would test humanity's wisdom, strength, and character. Success would mean acceptance into a vast interstellar community, access to advanced technologies, and protection from cosmic threats. Failure. Well, the artifact was vague on the consequences, but the implication was clear. Earth would be left to fend for itself in a dangerous galaxy. As governments and organizations around the world debated how to respond, a decision was made. Humanity would accept the challenge. A team would be assembled, the best and brightest Earth had to offer, to represent our species in these cosmic trials. Dr. Samira Patel found herself at the center of this whirlwind. As one of the discoverers of the artifact, she was an obvious choice for the team. Joining her would be Dr. James Chen, whose expertise in alien archaeology would be invaluable. Dr. Elena Volkov's linguistic skills made her essential for communication. Captain Maya Rodriguez, a decorated military officer with a background in diplomacy, was chosen to lead the expedition. Rounding out the core team were Dr. Kwasi Okoro, a brilliant physicist and engineer, and Dr. Yuki Tanaka, whose work in exobiology and medicine could prove crucial in an alien environment. Each member was chosen not just for their individual skills, but for their ability to work together and think creatively under pressure. As the team prepared for their journey, the entire world watched and waited. The artifact had provided coordinates and basic instructions for reaching Nexus Station, but the voyage would push the limits of human technology. A specially designed ship, the HFY Horizon, was constructed in record time, incorporating the most advanced propulsion and life support systems humanity could muster. On the day of launch, billions around the world tuned in to watch. The team said their goodbyes to loved ones, knowing they might never return. As they boarded the horizon, each felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. They carried with them not just the hopes and dreams of humanity, but perhaps its very future among the stars. Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled over the global broadcast as the final countdown began. People of Earth, we go forth into the unknown, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. Whatever challenges await us, we face them together. Today, we take our first steps into a larger universe. With a roar that echoed across the launch site, the HMS Horizon lifted off, carrying its precious cargo of human potential towards the stars. As Earth shrank behind them, the team steeled themselves for the trials ahead. They were embarking on the greatest adventure in human history, with the fate of their entire species hanging in the balance. Little did they know the true nature of the challenges they would face, and the cosmic politics they were about to be thrust into were far more complex and dangerous than any of them could have imagined. As the Horizon accelerated towards its rendezvous with Nexus Station, the first chapter in humanity's galactic saga was about to unfold. The journey to Nexus Station was a test in itself. For months, the crew of the Horizon lived in close quarters, pushing both their technology and themselves to the limit. They used the time to study the wealth of information provided by the artifact, learning about the various alien species they might encounter and the basic structure of the Galactic Federation. As they neared their destination, tensions began to rise. What would they find at Nexus Station? How would they be received? And most importantly, were they truly ready to represent humanity in these mysterious trials? Finally, after a voyage that seemed both endless and all too short, alarms chimed throughout the ship. Ahead of them, emerging from the starry void, was a structure of impossible scale and beauty. Nexus Station hung in space like a jewel, a massive ring world spinning slowly, its inner surface gleaming with the lights of 1 trillion inhabitants. Captain Rodriguez's voice was steady as she opened a channel. Nexus Station, this is the HMS Horizon of Earth. We have arrived to participate in the trials. Request permission to approach and dock. There was a moment of tense silence before a response came, the alien voice translated by their computers. HMS Horizon, you are cleared for approach. Welcome to Nexus Station. May your species find its place among the stars. As the Horizon made its final approach, the human team gathered on the bridge, gazing out at the marvel before them. They exchanged looks of determination and solidarity. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, carrying the hopes and dreams of Earth with them into this new frontier. The first contact had been made. Now, the real challenge was about to begin. Arrival at Nexus Station. The docking procedure was smoother than anyone had expected. As the airlock hissed open, the team from Earth took their first breaths of alien air. Captain Maya Rodriguez led the way, her posture straight and confident despite the butterflies in her stomach. They emerged into a vast, gleaming docking bay unlike anything they had ever seen. The scale was overwhelming. Ceilings that stretched hundreds of meters high, and ships of all shapes and sizes from countless alien civilizations. But what truly took their breath away were the beings that awaited them. A delegation stood before them, a dizzying array of alien forms. Some were vaguely humanoid, others defied easy description. There were beings that floated on cushions of light, creatures that seemed to shift and change as they watched, and entities that existed as shimmering fields of energy. Dr. Elena Volkov stepped forward, her translator device at the ready. Before she could speak, however, a melodious voice resonated in their minds. "Welcome, children of Earth," the voice said, emanating from a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin. "I am Zerak, overseer of trials. We have been expecting you." Captain Rodriguez composed herself quickly. "Thank you for your welcome, overseer. We are honored to be here." As introductions were made, the humans couldn't help but notice the range of reactions from the assembled aliens. Some seemed curious, even excited. Others regarded them with what could only be described as disdain. A bulbous creature with multiple eye stalks burbled something, which their translators rendered as, "They look so primitive. Are we sure they're ready for this?" Dr. Samira Patel bristled at the comment but held her tongue. They had been prepared for this. Humanity was young compared to many galactic civilizations, and they would have to prove themselves. Zarak led them through the station, explaining the basics of their stay. "You will have 3 trials to face," the overseer said. "The trial of wisdom, the trial of strength, and a final trial that will test the very essence of your species. You have 1 local cycle, equivalent to about 2 of your Earth weeks, to prepare for the first trial." As they walked, the sheer diversity of life on the station became apparent. Creatures of all descriptions went about their business, some paying curious attention to the newcomers, others ignoring them entirely. They were shown to their quarters, a suite of rooms that adapted to their physiology as they entered. "Pretty impressive tech," Dr. Kwasi Okoro murmured, his engineer's mind already racing with the possibilities. Over the next few days, the team immersed themselves in preparation. They studied, trained, and tried to acclimate to the dizzying array of new experiences. Dr. Yuki Tanaka spent hours in the station's xenobiology labs, absorbing as much information as she could about the various species they might encounter. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As they explored the station, they encountered pockets of resistance and prejudice. Some aliens seemed to view humans as little more than clever animals, unworthy of joining their ranks. During a visit to one of the station's many gardens, designed to replicate various alien ecosystems, an incident occurred that highlighted the challenges they faced. Dr. James Chen was examining a particularly interesting plant when a group of aliens approached. One of them, a being with metallic scales and glowing eyes, spoke harshly. "Look at it," poking and prodding. "Probably doesn't even understand what it's seeing," the alien said, not bothering to lower its voice. James straightened up, facing the group. "Actually," he said calmly, "I was admiring the remarkable similarity between this specimen and certain carnivorous plants on Earth. Convergent evolution across the galaxy. Fascinating, don't you think?" The alien seemed taken aback by his knowledge and composure. Before they could respond, Captain Rodriguez appeared at James' side, her presence commanding respect. "Is there a problem here?" she asked, her tone polite but with an edge of steel. The aliens muttered amongst themselves before slinking away. As they left, James and Maya overheard one of them say, "Perhaps these humans are more than they appear." It was a small victory, but an important one. Word of the encounter spread, and the humans found that they were starting to earn, if not respect, at least a degree of curiosity from some of the station's inhabitants. As the days passed, they also began to form alliances. Dr. Elena Volkov struck up a friendship with a linguist from a species called the Threll, amorphous beings of pure thought who communicated through complex patterns of light. Their discussions on the nature of language across species proved invaluable in helping the team understand the subtleties of interstellar diplomacy. Dr. Samira Patel found herself deep in conversation with a group of scientists from various species, all of them fascinated by humanity's rapid technological progress. "Your species went from first powered flight to landing on your moon in less than 7 decades, one of them marveled. "That kind of adaptability and drive is uncommon." But even as they made progress, the team couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Captain Rodriguez, in particular, sensed undercurrents of tension and conflict beneath the serene surface of Nexus Station. During a briefing session in their quarters, she voiced her concerns. "I can't put my finger on it," she said, "but I feel like we're walking into something bigger than just these trials. Keep your eyes and ears open, everyone." As the day of the first trial approached, the team felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. They had prepared as best they could, but the true nature of the trial of wisdom remained a mystery. On the eve of the trial, they gathered in their common room, each lost in thought. Dr. Yuki Tanaka broke the silence. "Whatever happens tomorrow," she said softly, "we face it together. For Earth. The others nodded solemnly. They were more than just a team now. They had become a family, carrying the hopes of their entire species. As they retired to their rooms, none of them could have predicted the true nature of the challenges that awaited them, nor the far-reaching consequences their actions would have for the future of humanity and the galaxy itself. The first trial was about to begin, and with it, humanity's true test among the stars. The trial of wisdom. The day of the first trial dawned, at least according to the artificial day-night cycle of Nexus Station. The human team gathered in their common room, a nervous energy palpable in the air. Captain Maya Rodriguez looked at each of her teammates, seeing determination in their eyes. "Whatever happens in there," she said, her voice steady, "remember why we're here. We represent not just ourselves, but all of humanity. Let's show them what we're made of." They were led to a vast chamber deep within the station. The room was filled with representatives from various alien species, all there to witness the trial. At the center stood a shimmering holographic construct, pulsing with energy. Zirak, the overseer, addressed the gathered crowd. "The trial of wisdom is not merely a test of knowledge, but of understanding, adaptation, and creative thinking. The humans will face a series of challenges designed to push the limits of their cognitive abilities." As the team approached the construct, it sprang to life, engulfing them in a sea of light and information. They found themselves immersed in a virtual environment, facing their first challenge. The initial tasks seemed straightforward: solving complex mathematical equations, deciphering alien languages, predicting the outcomes of chaotic systems. The team worked together seamlessly, each member's strengths complementing the others. Dr. Elena Volkov's linguistic skills proved invaluable as they unraveled the mysteries of a long-dead alien civilization's writings. Dr. Kwasi Okoro's engineering expertise allowed them to reconstruct advanced alien technologies from fragmented data. But as the trial progressed, the challenges became increasingly abstract and difficult. They were tasked with solving problems that seemed to defy the very laws of physics as they understood them. In one particularly daunting scenario, they faced a simulated unstable star system on the brink of collapse. Their goal was to save as many inhabited planets as possible, using only the resources available within the system itself. The alien observers watched in fascination as the humans huddled together, discussing rapidly and sketching out ideas. Dr. Samira Patel's astrophysics background came to the fore as she proposed a daring plan. "We can't save all the planets," she explained to her teammates. "But if we trigger a controlled nova in one of the smaller stars, we can use the ejected material to shield the most populated worlds and propel them to safer orbits." It was a risky plan, one that many of the alien observers thought impossible to execute. But as the humans set their strategy in motion within the simulation, manipulating stellar masses and orbital mechanics with precision, the impossible became reality. Murmurs of surprise and appreciation rippled through the audience. One alien, a being of pure energy, whispered to its neighbor, "They think differently than we do." It's intriguing. As the trial wore on, the team faced challenge after challenge, each one pushing them to their limits. They encountered problems that required them to think in dimensions beyond their normal perception, to grasp concepts that seemed to contradict everything they knew about the universe. But with each obstacle, the humans demonstrated their greatest strength: adaptability. Where pure knowledge failed them, they relied on intuition, lateral thinking, and their ability to work together, combining their diverse skills in unexpected ways. In the final challenge, they were presented with a philosophical and ethical dilemma that had puzzled the greatest minds of the galaxy for eons. It involved the nature of consciousness, free will, and the very fabric of reality itself. The team debated intensely, drawing on everything from Earth philosophy to quantum mechanics. In the end, it was Dr. James Chen who proposed a solution that left even the most skeptical aliens nodding in appreciation. "We don't claim to have the definitive answer," James explained to the rapt audience, "because the beauty of this question lies in its ongoing exploration. Our proposal is not an end, but a new beginning, a framework for understanding that embraces uncertainty and encourages continuous discovery. As the trial came to an end, the human team emerged from the holographic construct, exhausted but exhilarated. They had no idea how they had performed relative to other species, but they knew they had given it their all. Zerak approached them, the overseer's expression unreadable. "Humans," the alien said, "you have surprised us. Your methods were unconventional, but undeniably effective. You have passed the trial of wisdom." A cheer went up from some of the alien observers, while others muttered in disbelief. The human team embraced each other, their joy and relief palpable. But as they celebrated, Captain Rodriguez noticed something odd. A group of aliens in the back of the chamber were huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. Their body language, or what passed for it among such diverse beings, suggested agitation, even anger. As the team was led out of the chamber to rest and prepare for the next trial, Maya pulled Dr. Volkov aside. "Elena," she whispered, "I need you to use those linguistic skills of yours. Keep your ears open. I think there's more going on here than just these trials." Elena nodded, her expression serious. "I sensed it too. Some of the translations I've been picking up. There are undercurrents of politics and conflict that go far beyond just testing new species." As they rejoined their teammates, the humans couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled into something much larger and more complex than they had ever imagined. Their success in the trial of wisdom had earned them respect, but it had also perhaps made them a target. The next trial, the trial of strength, loomed ahead, but now they had to wonder. Were they just being tested, or were they pawns in a much larger galactic game? As they retired to their quarters to rest and strategize, the team knew one thing for certain: they would face whatever came next together, for each other and for Earth. The true nature of their cosmic crucible was only beginning to reveal itself. The trial of strength. The days following the trial of wisdom were a whirlwind of activity and tension. As the human team prepared for the next challenge, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched more closely than ever. Captain Maya Rodriguez had the entire team on high alert, looking for any clues about the undercurrents of conflict they had sensed. Dr. Elena Volkov spent hours in the station's common areas, her translator working overtime as she picked up snippets of conversation from various alien species. On the morning of the trial of strength, the team gathered once more, their faces a mix of determination and concern. "All right, listen up," Maya said, her voice low. "We've picked up chatter about factions within the Galactic Federation. Some species aren't happy about Earth's potential membership. We need to be on our guard." Dr. Kwasi Okoro nodded grimly. "I've noticed some of the technology we're allowed to access has been suspiciously limited, almost as if someone's trying to stack the odds against us." Before they could discuss further, Zerak arrived to escort them to the trial chamber. This time, the room they entered was vastly different, a massive arena-like space with various terrains and obstacles scattered throughout. "The trial of strength," Zerak announced to the assembled aliens, "will test not just physical prowess, but endurance, adaptability, and the ability to function under extreme stress." The human team exchanged nervous glances. They had trained hard, but they knew their physical capabilities might not match up to some of the more exotic alien species. As the trial began, it quickly became clear that this was no ordinary test of strength. The team found themselves facing a series of grueling challenges that pushed the very limits of human endurance. They navigated gravity fields that shifted unpredictably, making every step a battle. They faced extreme temperature fluctuations that would have killed unprotected humans in minutes. Throughout it all, they had to solve complex puzzles and make split-second decisions that could mean the difference between success and failure. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's medical expertise proved invaluable as she helped the team cope with the physical strain. "Remember your training," she called out as they struggled through a particularly nasty low-gravity section. "Short, controlled movements, conserve your energy. Hours into the trial, exhaustion began to take its toll. During a brief respite, Dr. Samira Patel noticed something odd about one of the obstacles ahead. That energy field, she whispered to Captain Rodriguez. Its frequency is oscillating in a way that's particularly harmful to human physiology. It's almost as if it was designed specifically to stop us. Maya finished, her eyes narrowing. Their suspicions were confirmed when they overheard a conversation between two alien observers, their translators picking up words like sabotage and human interference. Despite the apparent attempts to undermine them, the human team pressed on. They used their diverse skills and teamwork to overcome challenges that would have been impossible for any one of them alone. Dr. James Chen's knowledge of alien environments helped them navigate treacherous terrains. Captain Rodriguez's military training proved crucial in coordinating their efforts through the most difficult sections. As they neared the end of the trial, they faced their greatest challenge yet, a massive chasm filled with swirling energy, with no apparent way across. The team huddled together, acutely aware of the alien eyes watching their every move. We can't go around it, and we can't go through it, Dr. Okoro muttered, his mind racing. It was Dr. Volkov who had the breakthrough. Wait, she said, her eyes lighting up. Remember that artifact we found on Mars? The patterns on its surface, they're similar to the energy fluctuations in this chasm. Working quickly, the team used their combined knowledge to manipulate the energy field, creating a stable pathway across the chasm. As they stepped onto solid ground on the other side, a cheer went up from some of the alien spectators, while others muttered in disbelief. Exhausted but triumphant, the human team completed the trial of strength. As they stood before Zarak, awaiting the verdict, they could see a mix of emotions on the alien faces around them: respect, surprise, and in some cases, what looked unsettlingly like fear. Humans, Zarak announced, a note of what might have been awe in the overseer's voice. You have passed the trial of strength. Your physical capabilities, while not the most impressive we have seen, are complemented by an ingenuity and teamwork that is remarkable. As the team celebrated their victory, they were approached by an alien they hadn't seen before, a tall, crystalline being that seemed to shimmer with inner light. I am Sarlith, the being said, its voice resonating in their minds. I represent a faction within the Federation that believes in the potential of young species like yours. We need to talk. Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, her posture alert despite her exhaustion. About what? Exarlith's crystalline form pulsed with urgency. About the true nature of these trials and the role your species may play in the future of the galaxy. There are those who fear what humanity might become, and what you've shown here has only intensified that fear. As the team followed Exarlith to a secluded area of the station, they realized that their journey was far from over. They had passed 2 trials, but the greatest challenge, and the true purpose behind their presence on Nexus Station, was only now beginning to reveal itself. The final trial loomed ahead, but now it carried weight beyond just Earth's membership in the Galactic Federation. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. As they prepared for what was to come, the human team knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, drawing strength from their unity and their unwavering spirit. The cosmic crucible was heating up, and humanity was about to be tested like never before. The final trial. The meeting with Xarlith left the human team reeling. In a secluded chamber, shielded from prying eyes and ears, the crystalline being revealed the true complexity of galactic politics. The Galactic Federation is at a crossroads, Xarlith explained, its form pulsing with urgency. There are factions pushing for isolation, fearing the influence of younger races. Others seek expansion and diversity. Your performance in these trials has become a catalyst for this conflict. Captain Rodriguez's eyes narrowed. So we're pawns in a larger game. More like the wild card, Xarlith corrected. Humanity's potential is unsettling to some. Your adaptability, your drive. It's reminiscent of ancient races that once brought great change to the galaxy. As the team absorbed this information, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Zarak's voice echoed through the communication systems. All participants, report to the central chamber immediately. The final trial begins now. Exchanging worried glances, the team rushed to the chamber. The atmosphere was tense, with various alien species muttering amongst themselves. Zarak stood at the center, flanked by representatives from different factions. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Zarak announced, a hint of strain in the overseer's voice. The final trial has been modified. You will face a challenge that will test not just your species, but your understanding of your place in the galactic community. The chamber darkened, and a massive holographic display sprang to life. It showed a star system on the edge of Federation space, with several inhabited planets. A situation has developed, Zarak continued. A highly aggressive, non-Federation species has entered this system. They possess technology that rivals our own, and they have issued an ultimatum. Surrender the system, or face annihilation. Murmurs of shock and fear rippled through the gathered aliens. The human team exchanged glances, realizing the weight of the moment. Your task, Zarak said, turning to the humans, is to resolve this crisis. You have one planetary rotation to formulate and present your solution. The fate of millions hangs in the balance. As the other species retreated to observe, the human team huddled together. They had access to data about the invading species, the inhabited planets, and Federation resources in the area. This is more than just a test, Dr. Volkov said, her voice low. How we handle this could determine humanity's place in the galaxy. They worked tirelessly, analyzing every angle. Dr. Patel and Dr. Okoro pored over the technological capabilities of both sides. Dr. Chen and Dr. Tanaka studied the biology and culture of the various species involved. Captain Rodriguez and Dr. Volkov focused on diplomatic strategies and military tactics. As the deadline approached, they finalized their plan. It was risky, unconventional, and would require skills from each team member. But it was also, they believed, the best chance for a peaceful resolution. Before the assembled galactic representatives, Captain Rodriguez presented their solution. We propose a three-pronged approach, she began, her voice steady. First, a show of force, not to attack, but to demonstrate the Federation's capability and resolve. Dr. Okoro stepped forward, explaining how they could use the local star's magnetic field to create an illusion of a much larger fleet. Second, Maya continued, we opened diplomatic channels, not just with the invaders, but with the inhabited planets as well. Dr. Volkov detailed their plan for multi-species negotiations, leveraging the diverse perspectives within the Federation. Finally, Maya said, we offer an alternative. Instead of conquest, we propose a collaborative scientific mission. Dr. Patel explained how they had identified a rare stellar phenomenon in a nearby system, one that could benefit both the invaders and the Federation if studied together. We don't just avoid war, Maya concluded. We turn potential enemies into allies, expanding the scope of galactic cooperation. As they finished their presentation, the chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices. Some were clearly impressed, others skeptical, and some outright hostile. Zarak raised a limb for silence. An interesting approach, the overseer said. But how can we trust that this would work? The risks are immense. It was Dr. James Chen who stepped forward then. Throughout Earth's history, he said, his voice carrying across the chamber, we've faced countless conflicts. Yes, we've had our share of wars. But our greatest achievements, our most significant progress, has always come through cooperation. He gestured to his teammates. Look at us. 6 individuals from different backgrounds, cultures, specialties. Yet we've accomplished more together than any of us could alone. We believe the same principle can apply on a galactic scale. A hush fell over the chamber. Then, slowly, representatives from various species began to signal their approval. Even some who had been skeptical of humanity before seemed swayed by the audacity and wisdom of the plan. Zarlith's crystalline form glowed brightly. "This," the alien said, "is why we advocated for humanity's inclusion. They'd bring a fresh perspective, a new way of approaching age-old problems." Zarek studied the human team for a long moment. "You have passed the final trial," the overseer finally announced. "More than that, you have proven that humanity has a valuable role to play in the Galactic Federation." As cheers and congratulations filled the chamber, Captain Rodriguez felt a weight lift from her shoulders. They had done it. Earth would join the galactic community. But she knew this was just the beginning. As she looked at her team, no, her family, she saw in their eyes the same realization. They had passed the trials, but the real work was just beginning. The stars beckoned, filled with wonders and challenges beyond imagination. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the cosmic arena, ready to face whatever the universe had in store. As the celebration continued around them, the human team stood together, their bond forged in the crucible of these trials. They had not just secured Earth's place among the stars. They had opened the door to a new era of galactic cooperation and understanding. The cosmic crucible had tested them, pushed them to their limits, and in the end, revealed the true strength of humanity. Not just their adaptability or intelligence, but their capacity for unity, compassion, and hope. As they prepared for their return journey to Earth, carrying with them the momentous news of their success, each member of the team knew that their adventure was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and marvels, conflicts and opportunities. And humanity, with its unique blend of determination, creativity, and spirit, was ready to play its part in shaping the future of the cosmos. The trials were over. The true journey was just beginning.